All right, hello everyone. Here we have Grace and Mongo's Welsh Terrier puppies. They were born November 8th. They're about 5.5 weeks old. Yay, they're getting so big. Look at that little tail waggling. We do still have one female available, so she's looking for her home. They'll be ready to go that first week of January. So you can hit me up for more details. I can tell you all about them, or they're listed on our website with all the updated pictures and videos and information. But today they're 5.5 weeks old. So we are going to start the beginning of the puppy picking process. So if you are interested in reserving this last little female and you're like, but which one is it gonna be? We should know that within about the next week. That's gonna be my goal, is to have puppy picking done by next Saturday, December 23rd, so that everybody knows which puppy they're getting by Christmas time, in case you're wanting to show your family a picture or whatever. So that's gonna be the goal. So in order to make that happen, I'm gonna do this video today, which I always do at 5.5 weeks. And then the 6-week video, I'm gonna get like a day early on like Tuesday. And then we will start the puppy picking then. We go in the order I receive deposits. And that's the little male right there. And we will start picking. So I always tell people, and especially this time with kind of trying to have a deadline, like, watch these videos with your family, you know, before it's your turn to pick, kind of have an idea in mind who you're thinking. So today I'm going to do the video where I'm just describing all the differences I'm seeing in looks and personalities. That's orange right there. Here's red. And then the video I get on Tuesday, I'm kind of just going to follow like one puppy at a time. And that's pink in the corner too. I'm just kind of going to follow one puppy at a time on Tuesday and just let you kind of watch and observe. And I do a whole lot less talking. So that's kind of the schedule for the week. So that's what you can expect to happen. So before I get into the puppy picking, I do it at this age because I feel like it's the perfect window between where all you're seeing is developmental differences. Oh, Red, I'm sorry, I scared you. Like last weekend even, where it was like some of them were kind of developmentally a little ahead, and some were just still real quiet and scared in that phase that they were in. And where they're right now kind of coming out of that, they're showing me their personalities. And in the next week to 2 weeks, all you're gonna see is wild Welsh Terrier puppy energy. And then it's really hard to pick based on personality because they're just running around like crazy. So that's why we do it now. And please keep in mind, they're living beings. So they change all the time. They're sleepy, then they're awake and lively, and then they're tired, and then they're hungry, and then they're... So I capture this video. I know we all need to see the puppies interacting to pick, but also just keep in mind that the descriptions I'm giving are based off of what I see on a day-to-day basis. I pay a lot of attention. And, you know, even if you're not seeing that in the video, or if you're seeing the opposite in the video or whatever, like, just keep in mind, this is what I'm seeing all the time. And I know that's hard, but I always like to say that because sometimes, like, I'll have a really sleepy one in a video and I'm describing them to people, but nobody wants to pick because they didn't move much in the video. And that's really not a fair way to pick, which I get it. You know, you're watching a video. But anyways, I just like to throw that out there. So then the other thing I like to get into before I start in on personalities is that all of these guys obviously are Welsh Terriers. They will all share the traits of being a Welsh Terrier. They're all going to be a high energy breed, a difficult and high energy puppy. They're little terrors. They're awesome. They're hilarious. They're brilliantly smart. They're humorous. So those are all going to be there. But sometimes I have people that maybe have only ever had one interaction with a Welsh Terrier or one Welsh Terrier in their life. And they're kind of thinking, this is yellow, orange, and pink, by the way. They're kind of thinking, oh, well, the way that dog acted is what a Welsh Terrier is. And while you're absolutely going to recognize lots of traits amongst them from being Welsh Terriers, and even amongst this litter from being siblings, Every dog has their own personality, and especially in these terriers that are just lots of personality. That's the male right there. That really is true. And so just please keep that in mind as you're picking. That's why we spend so much time on personalities. Okay, so then the last thing before I get into it, I rank my puppies' personalities in order from most outgoing and energetic and independent to least. The reason I do this is I have found that that's kind of the easiest way to describe all the different personalities. There's really like high energy, go, independent, more alpha type Welsh Terriers, and there's quiet, dependent, submissive, more laid back Welsh Terriers. Now, even the most quiet and shy, even most timid Welsh Terrier on the planet is still going to be a higher energy dog than just your average dog. So keep that in mind. And again, like by the 8-week video, they will all, every one of them, from the more energetic ones to the quiet and shy, they will be bouncing off the walls with energy. So that's the other thing I sometimes run into is people saying, oh, well, we wanted a playful puppy. Oh my goodness. Please don't think that any of these guys are not going to be playful. They're going to be 10 times more playful than you probably even want. That's a Welsh Terrier for you. Again, it's just age. It's like a little baby. You can't expect them to be sitting up before it's time, you know. So just keep all that in mind. And without further ado, Purple, she's always coming up to me. She also always tends to have her tongue out. Not always, but a lot of times I see it. Without further ado, I'm gonna get into personalities. We're gonna start with the girls. Obviously the choice for the male is made, but I'll talk about him too. So my more outgoing female, I had a hard time deciding between Yellow and Purple. I feel like Yellow is more outgoing and a little bit more of an independent leader than Purple. So I put her as number 1, and that's her right here. She typically is kind of like the first one to warm up to a new situation. Not so bothered by something, you know, maybe a scary noise or a new location. She usually bounces back pretty quick, and a lot of times is kind of the leader of the group. So I put her as number 1. I put Purple as number 2, and another reason I put her as number 2 is she's less independent. She's a lot of times the one that is always in my lap. Her and Orange, it seems like. Like she's a very outgoing girl, but she like goes, runs around, and then comes back for a petting. So she's my number 2. My number 3 is Pink, and I had, again, a really hard time between Pink and Purple. So I did put Pink as 3, I'm sorry, not Purple, and Orange as 4. But I put Pink as 3 again because she's just a little bit more independent and outgoing over Orange. Orange is a lot of times the one kind of being with me more. But same thing with Orange. I would put them as both as very middle of the road personalities, Pink and Orange. I think Pink might be a little bit more outgoing, and Orange might be a little bit like more quiet and maybe take a minute more to adjust to some new situation or noise or whatever, making her a little bit lower down on the rank, but that's Pink and Orange. So here's Pink. Hi. And here's Orange. Hi. Sorry, I keep showing my feet, but I'm trying to keep them in this corner here. And then I have Red as 5. She's definitely my quieter puppy. She's usually the last one, like in a new situation, to warm up to something. And those are all indicators of a much more laid back, quiet, easygoing nature. Again, that just presents itself as a more quiet and shy puppy or dog as a puppy. Now, same thing with Green. He is definitely kind of right there with Red. They're kind of my 2 quieter ones in the litter. Green would be like a notch above Red, I think, like just a little bit more outgoing, a little more leaning towards just being a middle of the road guy. But he definitely is a quieter, more easygoing male. He doesn't really get his feathers ruffled by stuff. But he's kind of like not just gonna go run out and check something out without kind of thinking about it a little bit. And that's kind of red too. Hi there, sweetheart. They just like to take their time a bit more. But so that is the 5 of them. There's really not like any significant size difference worth even noting. Purple is built a little bit more petite, but honestly, they're all almost the exact same size. Like it'd be pretty hard for me to pick anybody out. Pink is maybe a little bit more solid, just like purple's a little more petite, but they're mostly the same size. And Welsh Terriers, there can be up to a 5-pound difference, but they mostly don't vary by more than a couple pounds. And coloring, these guys are all, I foresee a pretty rich black and tan coloring, but a lot of times if you kind of look at the shade of brown on their face, if their faces tend to be a little bit more darker, a lot of times they stay black and tan. So that's why I say this litter will likely stay dark black and tan versus lighter grizzle and tan. But like even on Purple here, you can see she does have some lighter hairs coming in underneath there. But it's honestly, it's just one of those things, size and coloring, you really cannot tell until they're older. That adult hair comes in at like 6 to 9 months, and honestly, it even keeps progressing, probably another 6 months to even not a year, I don't know, a year after that. Their black is still kind of receding into the saddle. It's mostly done by about 9 months, but you can still see some up around their necks. So it's just as that wiry hair comes in, that's when color changes happen. They also are influenced a lot by hormones. Coloring is, and if you're clipping their hair or stripping their hair. So all those things are to be kept in mind. So for today, that's all I'm going to do for today. I'll get you another video about mid next week. And then I will send an email with that video and we'll kick off puppy picking. So please just be, especially if you're the first person to pick, like put that on your calendar for Tuesday, please. That's coming up and we can get that going. So yay, everybody, soon it's time for puppy picking.